So Georgescu, which was the presidential candidate in Romania that got the most votes during the last election, and was essentially, it was a coup d'etat. They basically canceled the election because they claimed that there was Russian interference. That evidence was not shown to the public. It was just say, hey, trust us. This guy is a Russian asset, et cetera, et cetera. The more this goes on, the more suspicious it looks. Really, I don't think he's a Russian agent. They're acting like tyrants. And this is the case throughout Europe. We see this in Germany with the Alternative for Deutschland. The parties that are on their way out are making a budget that involves changing the constitution before the parties, the AfD, which I think got 20% of the vote, actually takes their seats and would oppose this. So they're doing this out ahead of this. It's a coup. It's a coup against the voters, in this case, Germany and also in Romania. So there's a panel, a 14-member or 14-person panel that voted against Georgescu's ability to run for office. He could still appeal, but the courts also ruled against him as well. So there's a lot of protests right now in Romania. This should get a lot of attention. This should expose what's going on in Europe, that if you're not nihilistic, if you are for common sense reason, or in some cases, if you are for, let me rephrase it this way. If you're for anything other than the far left nihilism or the globalist establishment, anything like the nihilism, the quote unquote conservatives, if you really are a conservative Christian, or if you are a common sense, logical thinking person, you're a quote unquote Russian asset, and your votes don't count, right? It didn't count in Germany, and it's not counting in Romania. Okay, so it's kind of like the velvet glove, and then there's an iron fist underneath that velvet glove. These people are authoritarians. It's been said over and over again, the EU, it's a bunch of bureaucrats that aren't elected, and they're making a lot of decisions for these European countries. And people would laugh at me and say that I'm ridiculous, that a European country can exit the EU at any time. You're starting to find out that's not the case. This is not about bringing people together. This is not about economic policy. This is about authoritarianism. This is about dissolving the countries to dissolve any political safeguard to what little freedoms they have in these countries to begin with. You think Germany's a free country? People are getting arrested and sent to jail in Germany because, you know, they're making quote unquote hate comments, like hate speech in Germany. That's not a free country. Look at what happened to Tommy Robinson. He exposed rape networks, like grooming gangs in England, and then he gets thrown in prison for this. So yeah, I mean, if you're not a globalist, the velvet glove comes off, and then there's an iron fist waiting for you if you're not, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid. So I'll put a link in the description below. This is a Zero Hedge article.